Wow, I was not expecting that. Lockdown is directed by Doug Liman and stars Anne Hathaway and Chiwetel Ejiofor as a couple that live in London who recently broke up, but due to COVID-19 spreading, they are quarantined for 2 weeks and have to deal with each other. Now, I know what you're saying. A movie about COVID-19, why would I want to watch that? Or a rom-com, that sounds so typical. A couple being locked together, now they have to find the way to love each other. It's not that at all. Yes, it has a few COVID-19 things. It has experience that maybe you have dealt with. It has experiences that maybe I've dealt with. Anybody has dealt with. I think the whole movie is kind of an accurate depiction of how we felt inside our houses, inside our jobs, you know. It depicts it very well. And I think the writing is well done with that. But the movie isn't just about relationships, you know. It's about you as well. And there's a lot of confession scenes where they talk to each other to explain why they are who they are. And I think it's a good message. If you're watching this movie, you may be going through stuff that maybe you haven't told your partner, that maybe you haven't told your friend, your parents, anybody. And maybe this movie inspires you to just talk to each other. I think that's the whole premise of the movie, is not just relationships, but just talking. Let people know how you really are. We always say to our friends, oh, hi, what's up? How you doing? Oh, I'm good. But you're not good, you know? It's like that Katy Perry meme.
Walk out the door, you see someone that you know, and they ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But I think that's a really good message in opening up yourself, not just because you're in a relationship or because you're friends or your family, like just opening up to yourself so people know the real you. And we're not just running around making up these fake stories. And that's what a lot of Anne Hathaway's character does, because she is the CEO of a company in this film, and she has to do a lot of Zoom calls. And by the way, I love the way they did the Zoom calls. They're very laggy. There's not good reception. Sometimes the voices don't match. So a lot of them are saying, oh, what would you say? What'd you say? And then sometimes they'll talk crap behind their microphone and they're like, excuse me? Like, I think that's pretty cool. And there are a bunch of celebrity cameos in this movie on the Zoom calls that work with Anne Hathaway. I thought it was funny. One of them being like Ben Stiller. He was kind of funny for like the 10 minutes he was on screen. They're not like important characters, but they do further the story, which I thought was cool. I thought the Zoom call aspect of it was dope. And Anne Hathaway does a great performance as usual in everything, no matter if it's bad, no matter if it's good. She's always a great actress, and I really loved her work in here. She plays this like insane CEO that doesn't really know what's happening. She has to lay off a bunch of her workers. She's forced to do these acts that she doesn't want to do working for this company. And she also has a past that made her who she is today, that throughout the movie you find out who she really is and why she smokes cigarettes or why she drinks wine. Like, you really get into what her psyche is, and I thought that was really interesting. As well as Chiwetel Ejiofor, he does a phenomenal job. I haven't seen him in a movie in a while, but he's great on the screen. He's just like, that's an actor there. He does a phenomenal job. He's a guy that kind of like regrets his decisions. He really loves Anne Hathaway's character, but she doesn't really feel that anymore, and that's the reason why they broke up. Throughout the movie, you get to see them further their relationship, even though they technically don't have one when the movie starts off. But you get to see them further it and just confessing to each other what their dreams are, what happened in the past, why they are who they are, like I said in the video previously. And I think that's a really good concept. I thought the writing was great in this movie. There was never a dull moment for me. I wanted to go into this movie and be like, okay, let's see how the script is, blah, blah, blah. But no, like, it was pretty flawless. There could be some things that I have an issue with, but nothing major. It's a simple premise, and not a lot of people have done it. I think the whole being locked inside and a couple has to fight and work things out, but there's also a bigger thing that happens towards the end of the movie that I don't want to spoil because I didn't know this going in, and I think that would kind of ruin the movie. Because the whole movie is inside. The whole movie is in an apartment. And then because of their jobs, they have to go out and do something. And I don't want to spoil that for you because honestly, the last 20 minutes of the movie, I was like feeling intense. And it wasn't because of them like arguing. It's because of what they were doing. And I was like, man, I didn't expect to feel like this. Like, I'm kind of scared for their lives right now. And I thought that was a really cool aspect because it kind of hits you out of nowhere. Like, oh, they're actually doing that. That's kind of cool. And I thought that was really excellent. The movie's funny as well. I think the comedy is at the right points. There were some points where I was like, should I laugh or should I not laugh? Because like Anne Hathaway has like these crazy outbursts sometimes. I think they were made for comedy, but some of them were kind of serious. So I was like, I don't know if I should laugh right now. But that was not a big issue. I thought it was fun just watching her do her thing, and it was really dope. And it was just fun, man. And it's like, you have a movie about COVID like this, but it's not bad. Like, and bad, I mean the sense that, yeah, it's not like bad, like a terrible movie, but bad in the sense where it's not about COVID killing people and it's destroying the world and blah, 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 blah. That's like the background of everything, but that's not what the whole movie is. So you're not going to sit through the movie being depressed about COVID and how it affected your life. Now, through certain parts of the movie, when they talk about job loss and people loss and all this stuff, I felt some type of way because I have been affected by COVID. And so, like, yeah, you'll be affected for a few minutes, but the whole movie is a very positive light of everything. And I think it's very beautiful in the way they did it. They didn't bash over the head Corona to you. They gave you a story around it, and you take it whichever way. And I think it's the positive way. It's nothing negative at all. So if you're kind of scared of watching it because you don't want to think about COVID-19, then don't watch it for a while. Because when I was watching it, I was like, I don't want to think about COVID. Like, I watch movies to escape this crap, but yeah, I enjoyed it. You have to watch these things sometimes. Maybe you learn something, and I did learn something. It was a beautiful message. I hope you guys learned something too about relationships and opening up, because it was pretty good. And also, one more thing, the shots in the movie were very beautiful. And I don't mean in a sense where it's like, the cinematography was on point. The lighting was crazy. Like, this isn't 1917 or Blade Runner or something, like nothing crazy. But a lot of the shots were handheld, especially in the personal moments where Anne Hathaway will be doing something on a Zoom call or arguing with her man, or Chiwetel Ejiofor will be running down the street saying poems. They were very personal when they had the camera on them. And it was all handheld. There were a few still shots, but the majority is handheld. And I love that. It made it very more real, especially during this time, and making this story a positive story, but also grounded in reality. And I really like that. Just the still shots of the handheld, and it was just nice. Like, I was like, a lot of movies don't do handheld shots, and then when they do them for like maybe it's a 2-hour movie. They do handheld shots for 20 minutes of the movie, and not 20 minutes like straight, but 20 minutes throughout the film. And I'm like, why don't we just do that more? It makes so many things more personal. And we don't leave it to just indie films to be doing that stuff. But this is a big budget movie by HBO Max. And so I was surprised. I was like, yo, HBO always releasing the good content. If you don't know HBO Max already, you should definitely get it. Not because of Wonder Woman, though. Don't get it because of that. Get it because of movies like this. This is a good movie. But in the end, Lockdown surprised me. I thought it was a great, fun time. And I learned something from it about relationships and about myself that I didn't even know. I'm going to give Lockdown an 8 out of 10. This is a great movie about coming out, saying things to your partner, to your friends, to your family that you don't normally say. You don't explain yourself in certain situations. And this is why people get mad sometimes. Maybe people don't talk to you because you're just not explaining yourself. And that's why relationships end, friendships end. So just explain yourself. And then we'll all live in a happy world and we won't be locked down. That was a bad joke. Won't be locked down. That wasn't even fun. That was my review of Lockdown. I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you for joining me on this review. And I just have a little thing to say. Watching this movie was pretty hard today. I did get news that one of my old-time buddies, me and my dad's old-time buddies, passed away today due to COVID-19. And it kind of hurt. So watching this movie was kind of hard. It's so ironic that had to happen at this time when I'm reviewing this movie. And it kind of hurt. But I got to say, this movie did help a bit. It was fun. It was a good time. Yeah, it was about COVID-19. And I just recently experienced one of my buddies passing away from it. But it was a good time. And I think it was very comforting at the moment when I was watching it earlier today. So check it out. And guys, wear your mask, social distance, do anything you got to do to stop the spread of this virus so we can all not be locked down. We could all go to the movie theaters. We could all have fun and watch movies the way they're supposed to, not on your crappy TVs. But thank you guys for joining me. Stay safe out there. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and bend on. And I couldn't end this video without paying some respect to my buddy Donnell, who passed away today. He was a great guy. He was so positive, even in negative circumstances, and his positivity really rubbed off on me. He was one of the last people I talked to when I moved from my hometown in Texas, and it's hard to hear him go. Last time I heard his voice was last month. So it really sucks, but rest in peace, Donnell. You were one of the good ones, man.